And here we go. We had just a little bit of a mishap. Let's do this. And hello everyone who is in here. I know some people are gonna come soon, very soon, very soon. No, 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 no. Well, I already knew you were coming, so it's not that big of a surprise. Thank you for the raid. You're awesome, Nunu. You know that, but sometimes you need to be reminded of that. Fairy also is awesome. I don't know how many people. Yeah, 4 because I left because I was the 5th one. And that's great that I did this because I had a feedback loop at one point. So yeah. I didn't want to. Salut Kawet. Salut. Hey Herhohen. Or something like that. Just Squirrel for now. Just Squirrel. How you doing? It's been a long time. Maybe this time, Squirrel. Maybe next time you could not sleep during the stream. You know, some strange guy. Yeah. So I'm a D&D nerd. Some people already know that about me. I'm also from the same town, same city as Kawet, Nantes. Brittany, Bretagne. And yeah, this stream for once is going to be only in English. So yeah, just to prepare some people that I'm gonna speak mainly in English. Usually I do a bit of mix and match of both languages, but this time it's going to be only French. Yeah, but Tada is from Brest, if I remember correctly. So, but yeah, we could do something like that, yeah. Well, Squirrel, you can always remove the referral raid in the URL if you want to come by yourself. You could just close the stream and reopen it. You do whatever you want. Yeah, he can move his butt. Yeah, and train is a kind of a possibility, at least from Quimper, I'm sure. From Brest directly, I don't know. So Squirrel, this is not. I am not Nunu. You know, there is Nunu and there is someone with a kind of a beard. I should really trim that off. I have glasses too. Okay, I have brown hair. Okay, this is a reminder of Nunu, but I'm a man. I am not David Tennant. I'm French. Yeah, that's something in common. I don't like olive oil. I prefer butter. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. But I mean, if I looked more like David Tennant, maybe we could have been confused or something like that. Yeah, beer is a tradition here, but sadly I don't drink any alcohol. But there are a lot of good places for that, especially in Buffet. Why was I searching for that place name? Yeah, it's been a while since I even gotten there, but yeah. So let's go and do this. So this stream, it's gonna be yeah. I heard the drink, so I had to do something. Hello, Alex. So yeah, this is gonna be a stream all in English. It's a Druid build for D&D 5e. It's one I played for a little bit more than a year and a half. Alex was there, so Alex is the Dr. Destinova in chat. Alex was there also for this campaign. I may talk a bit about his character. I didn't do that in the French version, and well. Let's go into it, and yeah, let's go. So, which one is it? This one? It's this one. Okay, I just added the chat in below, just for people if I upload this to YouTube. I think it's nicer to see what the banter was in the chat for all this, and we are going to. I was prepared, and I forgot some things, and I just blundered a lot of things. Okay, so let's start it for real. So this druid was my third ever player character. I did a ranger, I did a cleric for one shot, and basically when we started playing D&D, we started with what I call the Friday group. So I set up my own campaign, and this is how I started doing so. But some of my players wanted to DM. This was the case with Alex. This was the case also for Julien, which was another one of our players. He first started with a one-shot where I played set cleric, and then he wanted for us to play in some type of a setting. So this setting was, this setting was in a kind of a nautical, not subnautical, but a oceanic kind of vibe, also linked to some kind of disaster cataclysm. I like when a DM kind of explains to us what is the premises of the things that we are going to do, because it helps for us to have characters that could really thrive in this type of environment. We already talked a bit about what would be the constraints, not really the constraints, but what would be the material that we would be allowed to play with to create our characters. And so we add a few things for that. We knew we had the player handbook, so the core book that you can use to create your characters, and we could ask to integrate the content of one of the book, what we not really homebrew, but some type of a thing that would be published, that our DM could see for himself. And he wanted to have an agreement, agree with DM on that thing. So basically those were the two things. So I kind of thought of myself in a nautical environment and stuff, what would be really interesting to play as a character. And I remember having played my ranger pen, so Fletch in English, if I were to translate his name. Basically, I liked this character a lot, this ranger character a lot, but I became, well, de facto one of the people that were the most talkative, the one that had the more arguments to put on the table, especially to kind of negotiate things and such. And I had poor charisma stats, so I wanted to try to play a more charisma-based character. But there was one thing that was an impediment to that, is that there were already 3 players who had chosen to play charisma-based characters. We had basically 2 sorcerers and 1 warlock. Adding a 4th one would have been kind of a maybe too much unbalanced. So we would have had a range fighter, we would have had a monk, so a close quarter combatant fighter. Yeah, fighter. Well, a monk. But we wouldn't have had any people who could heal or such things like that. So I decided to help balance the team. So for balancing reasons, I went with a wisdom character with healer and support in mind, but also the tanking. So for those who have seen the 2 first episodes of The Legend of Vox Machina, which was released with a link on Kickstarter today, which will be released for everyone on Friday on Prime Video, there is this character in Vox Machina that is Kilith, and Kilith is a druid, which was a moon druid, so one who would be the most effective with using what we call beast form. She didn't use that a lot for now, that I can say, because I've already watched the first 2 episodes, but there is the premises of that, and there are a lot more things that could be in there. So the choice to play a druid is a really good thing. I had to pick what I call a lineage. I often say that, but I don't like the race word very much, because it has a lot of connotations. So why did I pick the lineage that I picked? Well, I first wondered if I would play a human druid, because humans, especially with the abilities that I've rolled, could have put me with a wisdom score of 18, but one of the main issue was that I would have to pick a fit that would allow me to bump my score in wisdom, and I wasn't too keen on taking some fits that were already taken by other people. So I started to look up a bit about some of the other contents, and I found out in the SCAG, so Swords Coast Adventuring Guild. Yeah, I have the book in French, but I had to translate that one. That there was the Firbolg class. So Firbolg Swords Coast. And which was kind of funny was that Firbolg with the +2 ability score increase in wisdom right from the get-go had also some kind of nice things with that. So yeah, it was kind of a great choice for that. It was a bit of min-maxing maybe, but yeah, the purpose to have a 18 at least in this type of things is way worth the while. And also in the source course guide, there were a lot of in the settings in itself, there were lots of diverse countries, regions, areas. So basically, it felt right in the concept of the campaign, as I had seen with my DM Julian. So basically, I kind of knew that my Firbolg would be close to the Oceanic theme of the campaign. I also had in mind. I also had in mind that I wanted to play some kind of a sailor-based origin, so the backstory. I will explain that a bit after. And when I read about the Firbolg race, there were a lot of things that really attracted me to that, thematically speaking. So basically, Firbolgs are kind of fey creatures, kind of a fey half giants type of things. They tend to live in quiet harmony with the woods, cloistered and in remote forests. and a lot of connections with the druidic magic, but there was also this kind of recluse kind of theme that I also wanted to get into. Wisdom score increased by 2, which was very good, and adulthood around 30. Oldest of them can live for 500 years, and 7 to 8 feet tall. My character was 250 meters high. So really something that was good to talk about and to start. So basically, what I'm going to use for this tool is not the traditional character sheet that you may know. I'm using a small website on which you can put some content to have all the choices that you want to fidget as. So I started with a Firbolg with kind of a Irish-based name, Irish or Gaelic, because I wanted to have this kind of presence, this kind of origins, and it felt also thematically speaking. It's no longer Orc-Brew because Orc-Brew was closed. It's Dungeon Master's Vault, but it's basically the same thing. It's the same site that they reprised. They're doing something to enhance it, but it's a. So 37-year-old, so just barely adult, auburn hair color, brown eyes, a kind of a grayish skin tone with some kind of pink cheeks and pink nose, which would go with a more jovial aspect of him, and there was also the personality traits, which is something that I really like to talk about, really like to flesh out, because it's where a lot of fun about playing D&D really stems from. Because you can take every character you like, you can take every alignment you want to take. It doesn't mean a thing when you don't put the proper preparation on what a character would be like and how it would react to things. We could talk about what happened on last session Friday, even if it wasn't on a D&D adventure. It was another thing, but there is this kind of balance that you have to have between the personality traits of your characters and up to where you can go with that. First personality trait, I like a job well done, especially if I can convince someone else to do it. Basically, right from the get-go, I had an idea that it would be this kind of a big, lanky character that would be kind of the most lazy as possible. And also, something that I did not really describe at first in the character sheet, but that came up really quickly when we began to play, is that there was some kind of a sense of comedy, sense of humor that was very specific to Kernior. I had also worked on his voice and something, so I had a more deep register, slightly slower speech pattern, and it kind of felt like this big lazy goofy one. I like to make fun of things and people, wholesome with friends, savage with enemies. Ideals, I'm committed to my crewmates, not to ideals. So basically, it was kind of a more neutral kind of guy, but we all do the work, so we all share in the rewards. So there was this type of energy that if you messed with his friends, if you messed with rewards that you had promised, you could be in for a rough scrap. Bones, loyal to the first and only captain that was fair to him, Rama Péchard, who worked on the Fleur de Sel. Fleur de Sel is French for soul flower, which is a type of salt. If you're interested in learning a bit of French. As a flaws, I'll say anything to avoid having to do extra work. Basically, it comes up to the same thing as a first personality trait, but it kind of it kind of rolls with it. Faction name is really not important, but at some point I had decided to do kind of a sailor. I knew I wanted to be a druid. I knew I wanted to take the Firbolg route. So what I basically did was to invent kind of a mythos around what was the Firbolg area, what was the beliefs, what were some of the personality traits and such. I could show you some of the things. I should be able to. I just have to look where I've stored it. It's gonna be in French, but it's gonna be nice to see what I mean by that. Basically, you can have some, backstories that stays in a few lines and such. I like to develop the backstory of my characters, and basically I did a 5-page backstory. So for a level 1 player, it's a lot of things to take into account. But basically, all the first page is explaining what was the lifestyle of the Firbolg village, what was the code that they had to respect, what was kind of the way things would happen in such type of village. If ever the DM wanted us to go there or to meet up some of the Firbolgs, he had some kind of basics to 5 pages. You don't remember, Alex, but I sent you a 4-page version of this. So basically, this was this whole idea about what was the village, and at the end, I explained that there was kind of a initiation rite, some kind of a rite to become an adult or to be considered as an adult, which was to take a travel outside of the village for 10 to 20 years or so, and one of the most important things was to not be a menace for the village. Basically, if you were someone that had, if you had a contract on, if you were followed, if people knew where you were from, that could be a big issue. So yeah, this was kind of the thing, and then there was a lot of things that explain all of the things that led to him becoming an adventurer, becoming a druid, becoming something. Basically, 5 pages is a lot, but you can condense all of this to enter in your character sheets, and that's what I did. So I basically said where he was from, born and raised in Dunyor, Firbolg village, the name of his parents, the name of his elder brother. He saw giants and humans roaming around from afar, and he started a druidic formation after not being motivated in carpentry work. He dreamed of sea and travels, waiting to discover the world in a 7 to 8 years time frame before being a real adult. And his brother came back with stories from his time out of the village that motivated him. He went to a coastal village where he embarked on the Silver Arrow, which was a ship captained by some kind of bloke that I invented. Could also have been mentioned in the rest of the campaign, and then worked on the Fleur de Sel with Ramapesha. Really liked the crew, learned to navigate there, but his laziness and the monotony of it all got him expelled of the ship. He worked on other ships, less prestigious, and getting easily angrier as he became a lot bitter. He worked on the Epinroche for months, and after a clash with his captain, Roland Lyodon, that is now dead, at least I stated that the captain is now dead, decided to get back to his family in a long trip around the area of Diluvia, which is the cataclysm-ridden area that is really the oceanic, the locations where the adventure took place. He helps a few merchants of the road to the town where we were supposed to meet the other player characters, even if my character made a friend on the route with the monk that Alex played, and he meets them, and they become a party. So this druid is kind of a really simple druid build, especially for a moon druid. We didn't have standard scores apply. It was all dice rolls, but yeah, I had to input it in this website as manual entries. Mainly, I had my main score at 16 and 2 other scores at 15. No score under 10, which is kind of a bit lucky on some parts, and kind of a bit sad, because it's sometimes nice to play someone that is a little less intelligent, a little less strong, and such. You can also play on that part of the personality thing, personality spectrum. No fit at all at the first level. As I said, a druid level 1, and yeah, 10 HP to start. And as the background, so I said he was lawful neutral, but is a sailor. I picked the sailor because, thematically speaking, it was really a normal choice for the kind of setting that we had, even if I think I was one of the few sailors. There was not a lot that took that, with athletics and perception proficiency. Perceptions relying on wisdom, which was the main interest of my character. Perception proficiency was way more important than athletics proficiency, but you know, it kind of go hand in hand, that you usually don't have two proficiencies at that point that are really that helpful. As for the race, I said it, the Firbolg to get normal speed, strength +1, which was really not a thing in the old campaign. In the old 7 levels that we played on, it wasn't a real issue, and +2 in wisdom was really, really, really awesome. As for proficiencies, I had something to choose about, and I chose something that felt very thematic to the character. Again, I'm using this word, and I think I will use it very, very, very often. So basically, animal handling. Since I was playing a sailor druid, I didn't go on that route. I prefer to take nature and survival, to have more of an emphasis on someone that is really interested in nature and such things around himself, but not someone that would really interact a lot with a bunch of animals. As for the spells, in the first level, what I took, and remind yourself, this is a list that contains spells that cantrips that I didn't have at that time, because we only played with PHP spells at that point. I had taken 2 offensive cantrips, which was kind of a miss on my head. I had taken Shillelar and Thorn Whip. Druidcraft, I got it after some levels in it, but something like guidance, something like resistance is always really a nice thing to have in a group, especially when you don't have a cleric that could buff your party, if you don't have a bard that can buff your party, if you're the main source of support. Yeah, Shillelar is something that I only used, I think, in level 1 on all those time that we played with. Equipment, I won't get much into this. Just know that basically druids should not wear something made of metal, so you don't have a lot of choices. You have some kind of scale armor, but that really is made only of scale and leather, or you have leather armor. You can go not buck naked, but kinda with only a robe. Depends on where you are located on the battle. As I said, for balancing reasons, my player was healer, support, and could be played as a tank. And yeah, I didn't want to get that many hits on myself, so yeah, I took some nice leather armor to get a nice armor class, even if it didn't really help at all. As we progressed, what should I say? At level 2, we have the choice of the Druid Circle. So this is where you might see people differ from the druids that I've built for that part. I chose Moon Druid because I love Scalers. I love the theme of changing into a wild animal and kind of slay a lot of claws, a lot of bites on enemies. And what was really interesting was that the Moon Circle allows that, but the old Druid class allows for that, but the Druid Cycle, the Moon Circle, is the one that goes way beyond what is the capabilities of that. Wild Companion being optional because it has only been added, I think, in Tasha's Cauldron for everything. So something I didn't mention and I should mention because it's fun. For the level 1 as of spells that were prepared, Cure Wounds and Healing Word were prepared. Fairy Fire, Entangle, which could snare a creature in an area, and I had Purify Food and Drink. Speak with animals, going to some kind of capability that is speech of beast and leaf from the Firbolg. So you can communicate with beast and plants, they can understand you, and you have advantage on charisma checks you make to influence them, so to persuade them, to intimidate them, such type of things. But you cannot really understand them. And I found that very funny, to be the one talking to plants but not having any response because, well, my character couldn't have such a response. It was very very funny to have this kind of play. So as we go up to level 2 on this class, we have the rolls. I will always play the average, even if I rolled every dice that I thought, and I picked the Sucker of the Moon and Sucker of the Moon as a feature. So you can transform into a beast with a certain critical rating, difficulty rating, basically. No flying, no swimming speed for the character, for the animals. So yeah, it's kind of a bit reductive, but I could take a beast up to a challenge rating as high as 1 instead of the 4th that we had in the core druid class. I could choose to change it to a beast as a bonus action rather than an action. I could also heal a bit of myself using spell slots. And that's it for the second level. We only gain 1 spell slot for our level 1 spells, which I used, I think, to take... What did I take? I think I did take Create or Destroy Water at one point when we arrived in the first full town that we ended up at level 2 or 3 to help with agriculture, basically, up there. So yeah, that was this for level 2. And level 3, you don't have a lot of things except that you open up your second level of spells, which has some really interesting capabilities also. So on those spell lists, I would have chosen to get rid of Purify Food and Drink because we didn't have to use that a lot of times. Create and Destroy Water also. So we had to pick on some second level spells, and second level spells I didn't take Barkskin because it wasn't really interesting. I used Animal Messenger a few times. I learned Earthbind from Xanathar's Guide as a kind of a reward for helping agriculture in the area. I use Enhance ability a lot to especially help for our charisma based player to be more persuasive in a lot of cases. And I don't think I used... Oh yeah, Moonbeam. Moonbeam was one of the one that I wanted to use a lot at some point. Spike Growth, one of the things that I could also swap for. But basically, I didn't have a lot of offensive spells. At least in level, at least for spells of first level and second level, because the main role of supports already taken that into account, and I like to be able to throw a entangled spell to change the shape of the battlefield, and then go on to become some kind of a the black bear, CR1, black bear or brown bear. Well, the buffier of the two, and then wait for my action on the next turn to start hitting people, and kind of getting a lot of trust on my concentration checks to keep the entanglement as I was in Beast form. And this played really, really well, especially because starting from level 2, level 3, there was kind of a big gap in terms of damage output, in terms of damage taking that the character could handle, and it was a very, very powerful build that would have maybe been a bit weaker at one point, but I think it's Druid is one of the best class in D&D 5e, with Bard, Cleric. I think those are the two main most powerful ones, even if you don't see the impact directly. Sometimes you will see them indirectly. And the Circle of the Moon subclass is just... I think it's probably the best all around in 5e. Some people would argue about that, and it's fine. And it's perfectly fine. On to level 4, and level 4 we have some kind of a wild shape improvement. Wild shape improvement being that you can finally change into a swimming creature. So if you want to play a shark, if you want to play a crocodile or alligator, it depends. And you also have the ability score improvement or fit, depending on what your DM allows. So the wild shape improvement wasn't that much used. I don't really... I think I used a bit of the crocodiles, but not that much, because we try to avoid being underwater to do some things. And the only fight where we were underwater, my character didn't have any wild shape use available, and we got trapped by the Medusa that lived underwater, and it was we barely escaped out of this alive. So when we arrive on this part, as you can see, you have small indications on this website. So ability score fit. I decided to take a fit because I had 18 in total wisdom. The DC didn't seem to be a detriment to have only a 14 DC on that part, so I wanted to wait a bit more. And as for the fits, there were two that were really interesting to me. There was the how's it called? The Warcaster one, which is basically you can have advantage on consultation checks, and you can, do some other things, but it was mainly the advantage on consultation checks that I wanted to have, and I decided to go on the resilient route, with resiliency being added to the constitution of my character. So basically, what allowed me was that prior to that, I only had a +2 modifier for my concentration checks. Adding the resilient fit on concentrations allowed me to master it. So the proficiency bonus of +2 at that point got added. And since I bumped up to 16 my concentration score, basically that meant that I had a +3 to concentration checks in just one level. Where is it again? It's in summary? Yeah, it's in summary. So basically, when you start as a druid, you only have intelligence and wisdom that are mastered, not concentration. Using resiliency got me this nice boost on getting my concentration while I was in a wild shape, which allowed me some crazy shit. I learned Druidcraft at that point. I didn't see any use for another cantrip, as I felt that Sunwhip was the one that I would use if I wasn't in Druid shape and I didn't have to help on a lot of things. And Druidcraft was the one that I could use in some social aspects if I wanted to. So yeah, I got on that way. Level 5, it's access to the 3rd level spell list, and oh my, this was the moment that I knew I had made the right choice playing as a druid, because in the spells that you can have in that level, there are some crazy stuff. Cold lightning, cylinder, 10 feet tall, 60 feet radius. So basically, the old grid mat that you can use on your table with your players is over by a storm cloud, and you can call lightning from that storm cloud, getting a lot more damages if there is a existing storm where you base your thing on. So it's only available on the outside. If you want to use it in a dungeon, you can see the sky, so you can't call lightning that way. But up to 10 minutes, 3d10 lightning damage on a failed save, half as much on a successful one. It's dexterity saving throw, so it's not that useful for a lot of creatures, but when it strikes and it hits hard. And something that you could up. Conjure animals, which was something that I relied heavily upon. Alex can confirm that, because he's thinking of playing a druid and playing a conjuration-based druid. You can invoke face spirits that would take the aspect of 1 beast rating 2, 2 beast rating 1, 4 beast rating half, 8 beast rating a fourth. And even if I had some type of favorite animals to conjure, which were mainly I think in there it was Plesiosaur and the giant boar. In there were two big bears, but I really loved to get either 4 crocodiles or 8 wolves with the pack tactics. When you have 8 more characters on the battlefield, when they are limiting the progression of your enemies, when they are attacking a lot with advantages, you can do a lot of things to help your party move, to help your party kind of get past the point of the first minions and go right into the big bad of the encounters. Or they can also be kind of a it's a bit shitty to say that, but I used that for that at one point. Kind of be the things to hit by a big creature to help us leave the area. Just beware. This is my main advice. For players and for DMs, for players I would ask you to refer to your DM, and for DMs really to hear that if you haven't had a druid player in your campaign. Starting at this type of spells, conjuration can take a lot of time inside the combat. It could take a lot of time because you have a lot more attacks, a lot more creature to move and such. There are some rules in the books that say that the DM has all the information on the beast and such. I asked my DM and we saw with each other that I would play all the beasts, that I would have printed the all characteristics of this, because if we didn't have that, it would have been very hard to handle all these monsters, all the situations, all the stuff and such. So yeah, Conjuration is kind of a bit of tightrope if you want to play for that. As for the other one, Dispel Magic is always nice to have, especially for exploring things, dispelling some kind of trap, some kind of a magical items that you could also be in the wrong place to be using, some kind of thing like that. And I didn't really use any of these other ones, especially, but Water Breathing, Water Walk as rituals, not as full spells, because Water Breathing and Water Walk in our kind of a authentic setting was just key, really key. So that's it for what happened on the 5th level. On 6th level, Druid Circle feature. I don't remember what was that Druidic Circle feature, but it's gonna be there. Oh yeah, starting at 6th level, you can transform into a beast with a challenge rating as high as your Druid level divided by 3, rounded down. So that's access to CR2 beasts. So Plesiosaur, which was one of the creatures we had encountered, and the giant boar that we also had faced. I don't think. Oh yeah, Primus Strike. Primus Strike was the one that kind of got my character on par with some other characters in the party that had magic weapons, because up until then all the attacks in beast form were non-magical, and at that point they count as magical, which is something that goes a bit beyond, a bit more into the effectiveness of the Moon Druid, because it's already a character with beast form that has a lot more hit points to get down from enemies, so you can tank even if you don't have a high AC in those beast form. You can soak a lot of damage from the group. And yeah, having those attacks count as magical could take you some. Well, you're basically on par with a barbarian on the front line, at least to me. And it would have made sense that the attacks weren't considered magical maybe up until level 8, level 9. It could have waited, because at level 6, I think we did. I don't remember if it was at level 5 or level 6, but we did a battle royale with some of the characters that we were playing as, and yeah, my character was such a monster that he wasn't fearing anyone in the party, and it was brutal. It was brutal. So that's it for level 6. And the last level that we played as, but I've had thoughts about level 8, is the 7th level. 7th level, which allowed for the 4th level spell slots. And the 4th level spell slot is, to me, not the one that I was waiting the most. I think the 3rd level spells are way more, I don't mean effective, but they are such a big thing to have, that when you get the 4th level, yeah, Blight is nice against trees, Charm Monster, yeah, but it's not the style of the characters. Conjuration of minor elemental woodland beings, okay, it goes on the same thing as Conjure Animals, but it costs a huge spell slot to use at that point. Grasping Vine could be nice, Hallucinatory Terrain could be nice, Polymorph is the one that is maybe the most useful, the most powerful out of all of them. But aside from that one, I didn't really need to add some other fourth level spell slot to get. I think I took Confusion at one point, but we didn't play a lot at that level. And for level 8, which would have been another ability score improvement or fit, I really didn't know what I would choose. Because at that point I was thinking that 15 DC for the spells could be a bit low. So maybe going up to 20 in Wisdom would be very interesting for that, because it would mean 16 DC. But I felt that trying to keep concentration while into beast form, especially with elemental form coming in at level 9, it would be maybe more interesting to have the advantage on concentration checks rather than hitting harder or hitting more creature on some DC check. So yeah, I would have probably taken up the Warcaster fit that time and get something that would be +6 to concentration checks with an advantage to maintain concentration. Yeah, it was too much. It was much more than just having a higher wisdom score. So yeah, that's it for that build. Kernior was really interesting to play. Personality wise, he was such a lazy goof. He invented a lot of things. He made the cook of the group a vegan because he talked about karma a lot. He made a lot of jokes, some that weren't that good. There were a lot of ethical, moral dilemmas in this campaign that was really awesome. And it was a really fun characters. If you like Druid, if you like Killus in the Critical Role anime, if you like this type of creatures that is not really a werewolf, but kind of feel like it. Moon Druid is a really nice addition. And yeah, always remember, having healing, having support, having tank capabilities, such versatility is such a great strength that you could not use a beast form for combat and you still would be a key player in a round. Whereas it's not said about other strong abilities for other classes. I mean, if you had the rogue never use a sneak attack, you'd be in big trouble for the encounter. So yeah, that's basically this build. Kernior, Moon Druid. If you have any questions, you can DM me. There is also a Discord that I've set up, and that is not the other Discord. Which is a kitchen one. First one is mine. Second one is a bunch of goops that a lot of people in here must know. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 people know already of the second one. First one is the one where I'll make an announcement where you can chat. There is a English corner for English speaking people. So you will have that. Most of the rest is in French, which is my main language. And yeah, if you have any questions, if you have any suggestion, if you want to talk about what you are building and such, feel free to contact me. And it's been fun. It's been a joy to do that with you.